Hi everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world, and I hope that your holidays, whatever holiday you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever it might be, I hope it's going well, and I hope that you have an amazing New Year's party or a New Year's whatever you're doing. And in this one, I wanted to speak to you about suffering and saviors. I get actually a lot of messages from people, well, I should say a lot, comparatively a lot, of messages from people asking me for advice on how they should or how they can help their loved ones. It might be their mother who's suffering, or it might be a relative, a brother or sister. It might be a partner, a child, whoever it is. There's someone in their life who's suffering because of some circumstance or another. It might be internal suffering because they are unhappy with the way things are going, or because they are afraid of where the world is going to go to, or it's external suffering because perhaps they lost a job, or they're sick or something like that. Whatever the reason might be, it doesn't really matter, obviously, right? Like, suffering is suffering and it's there for a reason. It's there so we can learn a lesson, and until we learn the lesson, the suffering is going to stay. It's not like the suffering comes and goes and comes and goes for a reason, for no reason. It comes and goes for a reason because the universe is trying to teach you a lesson, and until you learn that lesson, either it will disappear for a little bit and you'll be like, oh right, great, phew, and it'll come back again. You're like, what? I just went through this. Why am I going through this again? Well, because you didn't learn the lesson that was attached to that suffering mode, right? And so obviously the point when you're suffering is actually to start paying more attention, to become more conscious, and to start really going deeper and contemplating and reflecting. Why is this happening? What is the lesson here? Why am I feeling this way? Why is the universe sending me this particular situation? What do I have to deal with? What do I have to learn, right? Unfortunately, with all of us, me included, of course, what happens is that when we go through a suffering mode or a lesson, is that we shut down, we shut off, we close up, right? Because we believe that if we can just get through this part of our life, then everything's going to be roses and everything's going to be perfect, and we just have to get through this little thing. And if we could just shut down ourselves and we could just pretend, or we could, be unconscious through the whole process, then it'll go by faster, right? We won't have to feel in order to go through the suffering mode. Of course, that's not how it works. And the longer we shut ourselves down, the longer the suffering lasts, until we finally get annoyed with the whole situation. We get frustrated with ourselves, and we just let go. And we're like, all right, I'm just going to feel it. I'm just going to go deep into it. We get the lesson that we're supposed to get, and then the suffering ends. As if by miracle, but miraculously just ends right there. But we still don't learn. And the next time another suffering mode comes in and tries to teach us a lesson, we shut down again. And we're like, all right, I don't want to feel this. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. And then the cycle repeats itself. Now, this is the case for everyone, of course, but for some reason, as an individual, we like to believe that, all right, we're the only ones suffering, so we like to play that victim role. But also, when people around us are suffering, it could be okay if it's someone that we don't know, if it's a stranger on the street, or if it's somewhere out there, in another country. It doesn't really matter, right? It's okay, it's fine. It's not okay, but it's okay. You don't care as much. But if it's someone who is close to you, obviously, a parent or a child or someone, it becomes a little bit more apparent and a little bit more scary. And a lot of times what we want to do is we want to alleviate that suffering for them. Not alleviate it, actually. We want to remove it completely. We just don't want them to suffer. We think that if we do something, if we take an action, or if we can kind of take on their suffering for them, or if we can suffer at the same time as them, maybe they'll feel less alone. We do all of these weird, crazy things, kooky things, in order to ensure that the person's not alone who's suffering, or to take that suffering away from them. The problem is that the suffering that the person is feeling is happening for a reason. It's not a random thing. As you know, nothing in the universe happens randomly. There are no coincidences. So the person in your life they're suffering for a reason. There's a lesson that they're supposed to be learning here. And if you take that away from them, they're not going to learn that lesson. They're not going to progress. They're not going to grow or develop. And you're actually stunting their growth. You're actually holding them back. So obviously the lesson in all of this for you is to stop doing that. Stop pretending like you're the only one who can suffer and the people around you must not suffer, or that you can take on their suffering, or you can prevent them from suffering, or you can protect them from suffering. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, right? And so if you are in that mode right now, if you're like, oh, well, you know, like my mother's suffering or my aunt is suffering and I really wish I could do something for her, the only thing you can really do is support her in the process, obviously, be there for her, but there's no way you can actually take on her suffering or prevent her from suffering. You have to let it go. You have to let her suffer. If she doesn't suffer, she's not going to learn the lesson that she's supposed to learn, and that's going to be a huge issue for her, because that lesson is going to repeat over and over and over and over again until she learns the lesson, and that's a problem. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. I hope that I was able to explain myself to you. Again, thank you so much for watching, for being on my channel, and I shall see you the next time around. Bye for now.